Good morning, boys and girls. Let's go ahead and get started with our next math lesson. We are in Chapter 8, Lesson 7, Time to the Half Hour on an Analog Clock. Our math objective today, students will read time to the half hour on an analog clock. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm jumping right into our math book. All right, so here you'll see an analog clock. Remember, an analog clock will normally be in a circular shape, 12 at the top, 6 at the bottom, and then the numbers go in a clockwise direction. Today we're going to learn how to show half past the hour. That means it is half past 60 minutes. An hour is 60 minutes long, and half of that is 30 minutes. So first we're going to start with our hour hand. I'm going to look at my hour hand on my wristwatch here. My hour hand, I know, is this one because it's my short one, and it is pointing between the 10 and the 11. And my minute hand is pointing to the 6. When my minute hand is pointing to the 6, I know that it is halfway around my clock. My 6 stands for 30 minutes, because if 1 hour is 60 minutes, halfway would be 30. So when my minute hand is on the 6, my hour hand is going to be between the middle of the 2 hours. So if you notice, my hour hand is pointing towards after the 10, but not at 11 yet. That means the hour is 10 o'clock. And if I am halfway past the hour, I am at the time half past 10. Over here, I'm going to write half past 10. I can also show this time as 10:30. Again, I know it is 10:30 because 1 hour is 60 minutes and halfway would be 30. So if I were to count on my analog clock, each one of these numbers represents 5 minutes. So here we start with 0. And if I go in increments of 5, I go 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 20, 25, and 30 minutes. Again, my hour hand is after the 10, but not at the 11 yet. So the hour is 10, minute is 30. It is half past 10 or 10:30. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, normally in our classroom, I would have a student read this for us. I will read it for you now. An analog clock can show time to the half hour. A half hour is 30 minutes. This is just what I drew on the other page. If you notice, my analog clock is halfway shaded in yellow because as my hour moves on, the minute hand is trying to show where it's gone. So when we started at 4 o'clock, my hour hand was on 4, and as the minute hand moves across, the hour hand is going to move to the next hour. I'm halfway through my clock, so my hour hand is going to be halfway between the 4 and the 5. Up here, we'll start at 0 minutes, and then we'll go 1 representing 5 minutes, 2 representing 10 minutes, 3 represents 15, 4 represents 20, 5 represents 25 minutes, and 6 represents 30 minutes. So the time that we have here on our analog clock is half past the hour of 4. So we say it is half past 4, or we can also say that it is 4:30. Helpful hint, the hour hand points between the 4 and the 5. The minute hand points to the 6. It is 4:30. I'm going to go ahead and get another math book to do this lesson since my marker has seeped through from the other side. We're going to do number 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. All right. I'll write that in again. Up here under see and show, the time on this clock shows 4:30 or 4:30. Number 1. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, number 1. First thing I'm going to look at is my hour hand. I know this is my hour hand because it is shorter. Remember, my shorthand is my hour hand. My hour hand is pointing after the 9, before the 10. It is between the 9 and the 10. That means my hour is still 9. Remember, it's not quite 10 yet. And my minute hand is halfway around my clock on the 6. That means the time is 9:30. I can also say that it is 9:30. Number 2. First thing I look for is my hour hand. My hour hand is pointing between the 1 and the 2. That means my hour is still 1 o'clock because it's not at 2 yet. My minute hand is halfway past the clock. That means the time is 1:30. Or I can show this as 1:30. Let's move down to number 3. Again, first thing we look at is the hour hand. My hour hand is pointing between the 6 and the 7. It's after 6, not at 7 yet. So it is 6. And the minute is on the 6 over here, which represents 30. It's halfway through the hour. It is 6:30. We can also write it as 6:30. And number 4, my hour hand is between the 3 and the 4. That means it's past the 3, but not at 4 yet. So the hour is still 3 o'clock. And my minute hand is halfway through the hour on the 6. So the time is 3:30. I write this as 3:30 or 3:30. Boys and girls, we're going to have a talk math now. This is that time when you would be talking with your partner. Since we don't have a partner, you're going to ask your mom or your dad to talk with you, or an older sibling. Some of you might have a cousin you live with. You can work on this with your cousin, or an aunt or an uncle, anyone who's there to help you. So your talk math topic is, it is 8:30. Explain what 8:30 means. I'll give you a moment to talk about it. If you need more time, you can pause my video. What does 8:30 mean? Explain it. Okay, so some of you have had a chance to talk about this. It says it is 8:30. Well, I know 8:30 also means 8:30. Explain what 8:30 means. I know when I see 8:30, it refers to 8:30 the hour. So halfway through the hour is going to be 30 minutes. That means it is halfway of the hour of 8 o'clock. So it means it's 8:30. Your math lessons today are on page 603 and 604, boys and girls. You will be doing on my own. So you're going to do what we just practiced right now. Number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You're going to look at the analog clock and write that time here. So if this is, hour hand is after 10 before 11, minute hand is on the 6, it's 8:30. I won't give the answer. So 8:30 what hour? 8:30 what hour? Once you're done with that page, you'll go on to the next page under problem solving. Please remember to underline what you know, circle what you need to find out. An easy way to do number 13 would be to draw the clock. So number 14 already has a clock for you. I'm going to show you how to draw a clock for number 13. So Jen's class is leaving for a field trip to the zoo at 10 o'clock. The class arrives at the zoo 30 minutes later. What time do they arrive at the zoo? Underline what you know, circle what you need to find out. So for me to draw a clock, I'm going to start off with a circle. So you're going to need to draw a circle. The 12 goes at the top, 6 goes at the bottom, 3 goes on the right, 6 goes on the left, and then I fill in the numbers in between. 1, 2, 4, 5, oops, that should be a 9, 7, 8, 10, 11. I'll make a little dot in the middle, show where my hour hand and minute hand is going to start from. All right, boys and girls, you're going to do the same for number 14. You're going to show what time. It says Nate will go to football practice at 4:30. Show this time on the clock. If practice lasts for 1 hour, what time will it end? Write the time. So you're going to show the time practice starts and the time practice ends, and then you're going to write that number here. 4:30 what hour? For right math, what is one difference between the minute hand and the hour hand? I do want you to write this in a complete sentence. The best way to start this, your sentence starter, you're going to pull those words from the question. What is one difference? You're going to start with one difference between minute hand and hour hand is. So here's how you could start. One difference between the minute hand and hour hand is. So that's a really long sentence starter. Doesn't leave you much room for writing, but that's okay. If you run out of space, you can definitely write the rest of your words down here. Some of my students even like to write along the edge. You don't have to do that, but please make sure you write a complete sentence. Boys and girls, that's our lesson for today. I'll see you again tomorrow.